What if you could hold your dreams in your hand, literally? Imagine flipping through the pages of your journal filled with your visions, your affirmations, and the action steps that inspire you daily. Well, that is what we're going to be talking about today. This is another episode in our mini Pursuing Purpose series here on my channel. And I told y'all I will come back and tell you about this journal. I'm also going to share with you how I make my goals tangible in this episode. And so as always, y'all, we're going to be getting it in. And so we're going to get right to it. Okay. So if you are unable to stick around, then don't forget to do your girl a solid, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone that may need the inspiration. For everyone else who's sticking around, I will see you after the introduction. And then we're going to get into this because y'all, it's time. So, let go. I've been down so in love like 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 in love like What's the deal, pickles? Y'all listen, I be trying to think, should you stop the what's the deal, pickles? Every time I do that though, it makes me smile. It makes me smile because it's like I'm saying, what's up? What's up, sis? So we are back. My name is Dana and welcome to the Freedom Please channel and essenceofme.com. We are doing this series called Pursuing Purpose. Y'all got your girl out here taking notes, being prepared, getting it in. I've been doing it around my end of the year, beginning of the year preparations. I really wanted to have this series done by the first, but tomorrow's the first, y'all, and it's going to go the way that it is. We're going to make sure we don't go too long. Like, I'm not going to hold you for forever. But I also needed time to get everything together. And so, yeah, so today is probably the biggest part of the journey that happened this year that was a little bit different, but it also inspired me to do this series because, I'm trying to make sure, because I make sure we don't have no feedback if I can help it. Because just this year I decided to do it a little different. I told you all this series came about because I'm going for some major goals this year. And it wasn't that last year I didn't, or this current year that I didn't. I did. But I did those and I really knocked it out the park. And I'm like, you know what? Go hard or go home. And so that is what led me to really just upping my intention when it came to preparation for 2025. So with that said, we're going to talk about what I'm calling the purpose journal and what makes it a purpose journal and what makes it so special. In reality, this is not another notebook. If you're like me and you love journals and you love paper and stationery and all those things, we have a million journals, right? We can have a million different notebooks. We have one for Bible study and one for quotes and one just because and one to journal every once in a while. So it's not that. I wanted one place that I could connect my goals, my faith, my creativity. I wanted it to be small enough to be with me just about at all times without missing a beat. I also wanted it short enough so that I could read it every single day. And I'm saying every single day. I'm sure there's going to be times when you don't. but I'm sure there are going to be other times when I read it more than every single day. And so whether you are someone who thrives on lists or you need daily reminders to stay on track, this journal is a personal guide to turning your visions into reality. And it's personal because no two purpose journals are ever going to be alike. And I think that's what makes it so amazing. I'm still finishing mine. I have a few more pages to complete, but I wanted to get this up to you. And so with that said, we're going to just dive into this. Y'all got notes. So if y'all see me reading, don't say nothing, okay? But before we even get into this, do you have something like a purpose journal in your life? And if you do, tell us about it. What made you decide to create your own? And if you have never done it before, are you curious enough about it that you want to stick around, or even are you going to create your own? And so, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. So, have you ever felt like your goals are just like floating around in your head, or worse, they get lost in the chaos of daily life? I've been there. As a person who is a business owner, and I'm a creative, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a puppy mom. Like my life has a lot of things going on. And when I was younger, I used to think that if I forgot it, maybe it wasn't that important to me. And I think when you have a busy life and you have things going on, it's easy for things sometimes to get lost in the sauce. It just is. And, but I also learned, on the other side of that coin, the more that you have your goals in front of you, the more likely you are to pursue them, which means the more likely you are to achieve them. And so I went about that really intentionally. So when I was doing this, and even before, like it wasn't that I didn't have a plan. I sit down, I write a plan, I review my plan and my weekly goals every week. But there was something about having this feel tangible. It's not in a digital planner. It's not in my calendar. It's in my hands. It's in my bag. It's in my purse. And so I wanted to make them tangible, and I wanted to help motivate myself when things get a little bit tough. And I wanted to make it pretty, so when I think about it and I see it, I smile. I'm a person who I see things visually. So when I have like these drawings around it, when I think about it, I'm gonna see that picture in my mind. And so that was important to me as well, that it was pretty. Some of the pages came out a little bit questionable because I was playing with different tools, but that's okay too, because it's mine, right? It's mine. And so I was combining art and affirmations and scriptures and my goals. And it's really becoming a place that is aligning my head, my heart, my soul, my purpose, my intention, my drive, my motivation, my why. And it's all inside of this little bitty book. And so I'll tell you about this book, and then I'm going to tell you how I created it. If you look at one of my most recent update videos for December, I'll try to remember to link it. I showed you this journal. When I first started, I knew I was going to create this because back in the day, I used to keep my goals on index cards, and I would have them on little index cards, and they would stay in my bag. And then years passed, and I used to put a ring on them. I think at another time I did digital index cards. I remember when I got one of my earlier versions of my iPad. And this year, because I know I'm just going after something very, I keep saying intentional, but it really is what I'm doing, that I knew I needed to go back to having something tangible. I also wanted to physically write the goals and the scriptures and the quotes and the affirmations. And so I knew I wanted to write them down. The other thing that I knew was that I didn't want it to be big. So this is where I settled, but I want to show you that I keep journals in general. I'm not a journaler that journals every single day. I have a journal that's by my nightstand that I journal in it when I really need to just get some things off my chest, or I really want to capture something. And so that's a handcrafted leather bound journal that I write in with a fountain pen. So it's usually like, you serious. But I also have other journals. So I have my business journal, and this has goals and quotes. And when I go to workshops and when I go to trainings and things that I'm doing in my business, they go in here. I also have a bullet style journal, and this covers over the past like year and a half, where I slowly add things to these when I'm brainstorming and when I'm developing programs and things like that in my business. If there's a huge master checklist that I want to handwrite out, that's in here. Another thing that I do for journaling is I will use old planners, planners that I didn't use all of the pages. I'll go through and designate pages and add tabs to the top, and I will use those to capture. And usually those things are brainstorming. I do different types of brainstorming, but it's a good catch-all. But just like if I want to have a 2-page spread, because I love capturing stuff in a good 2-page spread. Maybe it's the left-handed person in me, but be able to just open it wide and just be able to cover across the page things that I want to do. And also because I have multiple brands that I oversee, so it's easy for me to separate the pages and do a brand in each quadrant of the page. So you can have that. I even have a blank journal that's ready when this one is almost done, but none of these were what I was looking for. I think to me, this would just seem way too, I would need a lot of words. I would need to fill the pages, or I would feel the presence of the blank pages. Also, I didn't want it to be too big. I wanted it to be able to fit in my bag, that it can be with me when I'm moving around the house, when I am going out to go to handle some errands, it's on me. So if I have time, I can sit and just read through it and review them. And so that is when I found this little guy on Amazon, and I'll make sure that I link it below or somewhere. It came in a 2-pack. I liked that that it was fairly short. I can't remember how many pages it has, but I would say maybe under 80, when you count front and back. I also wanted it to have paper that could handle watercolor or alcohol markers or any sort of mixed medium, even though I don't do any glue or anything like that in this particular one. But I wanted that as well so that I could use any of my crafting tools, and mainly because I have a lot of stuff and I don't always get to use it, or I had new stuff and I just didn't have a chance to test it. So this has been a really good opportunity for me to test the crafting supplies that I had and what did I like and I didn't like. And all the while it was building to something that was really, really important to me. And so this has been a labor of love since the end of November. I've absolutely enjoyed having this with me. When we sit down to watch TV, I would color or draw on a page, or what I was just calling prepping pages. And it's just been, even the journey to completion has been memorable. And I believe that has just been a whole part of this experience. And so I found this journal and I began to prep my pages. And I'm just going to show it like this. Y'all, yeah, you know how I go. You be like, we are good intentioned. We have lay out everything and do it overhead. Y'all, if I got to set all that up, I know I won't do it. So we're just going to do it like this. Okay. So I'm going to show you a few examples. And it's real simple. And I'll just show you some of the ones that I really like. I wanted to leave room to be able to add my affirmations and my quotes. Some of them were just like, this one is one of the ones that I absolutely adore. I bought this watercolor set that has like all aqua, and the only thing it's missing is purples, but I absolutely love it. I also really like this page. And I wanted to show some of these because they're nothing but like blobs. They're not like this one is just lines. I didn't want anything that was going to be super hard to do. Another one that is a favorite, and I'm going to I showed you that one. This is another one that was a favorite with watercolor markers. And some of the pages I've already started putting in my affirmations. And so what I did is, and some of them I've put in my affirmations along with personal journaling. And from a distance, it looks all crazy and messy. But if you were to look close, I have additional I am statements hidden in the watercolor. And I absolutely loved that. If I were to do this again, I would have done more pages like this because it was easy to hide a lot of the additional I am statements to myself, but they're hidden in the watercolor. And so I just love it. One of these I'm going to read and explain sort of how I did it. But first, what I would say is once I was done with prepping all of my pages, I've prepped everything except for the covers. I haven't done those yet. I think I'm going to paint them, but I haven't decided. I also have not done the front page, and I have not done the back page. I plan to do those later. I really think what I'm going to do is put something in the beginning where it sort of lays out the major goals that I have for the year, and then leave the back page for the end of the year. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you how I came to have the affirmations. So that was the journal. Any journal will do. It doesn't have to be expensive. It can be whatever you have. You can even create your own by getting regular copier paper, cutting it down to size, and maybe even doing it the full length so that you can fold it and sort of nestle those pages together. But this is one of those times where you can even go to like the dollar store. I think these only cost like $10, maybe $12. I will put it below because I could be wrong. And so yes, now that is the actual journal. Now, the way that I did my scriptures and affirmations was I first sat down and wrote out everything that I wanted to do for the year. And I don't want to say everything because, there are some things that you don't have to mention it. But I sort of just wrote it out like a long statement. And then I used AI to help me turn it into affirmations. And what I did is, let me actually grab the prompt. So now I'm inside of ChatGPT. You don't have to use this model. You don't have to use ChatGPT. You can use any other AI model to do something like this. The more information you provide, the more helpful it could be. But my particular chat knows quite a bit about me. It has information about my goals, and I built this after I worked on my goals. And so I'm going to move myself over, and here's the, I'm going to see if I can make it a little bigger for us. There we go. This is the prompt that I wrote to create my my quotes, my affirmations, and my Bible scriptures. I knew that I needed 40. One, because that's how many I wanted. Two, because I counted how many places and spreads I had available in my journal. There are some pages where, as you saw, I did a 2-page spread, and many of them I did one design per page. And so it equaled to 40 spaces that I had to put the statements. And so here's what I wrote. I need 40 quotes, affirmations, or Bible scriptures. These will be the thoughts, views, and truths I'll read daily to guide me to grow my brands to $1 million+ brands. I want them to encourage, challenge, and inspire me as I make the decisions and the actions necessary to see this reality in my life in 12 months or less. And once I hit enter, here's what I had. Now, let me tell you something. First of all, when I did this, I was just like, my face was on the floor. I'm always surprised by how it just picks up on things. And really, I did not have to, I made a few adjustments here and there, but I didn't have to make a lot of adjustments. It was dead on. And so what I'm going to do is read a couple so you can get an idea of what I have. And these are the ones that I'm handwriting in my purpose journal. So here, I am a steward of abundance. Everything I need to succeed flows to me effortlessly. Every decision I make is aligned with my vision of impact, growth, and financial freedom. Here's another. My vision is clear, my purpose is firm, and my results are inevitable. I'm going to go to some of the quotes. Do not be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. Another one. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. 17. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. And then for the scriptures, whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. That is one of my favorite scriptures. And I'll read another one. So let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. Now, one of the things that I want to say about this is if you decide to do this, do something that feels right for you. I knew I wanted scriptures. I knew I wanted quotes and affirmations. The reason why I was able to use these without making a lot of changes is because I use ChatGPT a lot. It knows me very well. And if I needed to make changes, I would have. But it was enough to get me started, especially since I already know what I'm going to do in action, right? So in this process, we are matching our faith with our actions, and we're making sure that our mind is on good things as we move forward. And no matter what I'm doing and what I'm pursuing, I want what God wants for me. So that supersedes everything. And so I wanted the scriptures there. I wanted to move in truth and also keep myself grounded and keep myself driven and keep myself focused. So here are some challenging thoughts. I focus on solutions, not problems, because that's where progress lives. I challenge myself to think bigger, act bolder, and believe deeper. I will outwork, outserve, and outlast the challenges on the way to my $1 million reality. And so those are the 40 affirmations, quotes, scriptures, and challenges to myself that I am handwriting in my purpose journal. Now, one of the things that I do want to point out is that when I started writing them in here, on some of them, especially the affirmations, I did some additional journaling. When I said that on some of the watercolor pages, like this one, I did this affirmation the way that I would do my Bible study. So let me go up, and behind me, you'll see this first one. I am a steward of abundance. Everything I need to succeed flows to me effortlessly. One of the things that I learned when I used to do Bible study, when I used to teach Bible study, and also when I first started digging into scripture, you see this a lot too when you go. I think it was more so when I went to grad school, not undergrad, because undergrad, most of it I just didn't and passed. But But in grad school, y'all know what I'm saying? And I think a 3.9 GPA in undergrad. But I found that sometimes when you're doing these things, we have a general understanding of what words mean, but we don't have a specific understanding of what those words mean. And I believe that this is one of the greatest differences that you can bring to this experience for yourself. And so I don't know, like I feel like I don't have time right now to do this for every single one, but it does mean that I can do it a little bit more over time. So what I mean is I will write all 40 of them in there, but I'm slowly working through each one and making sure that I take the time and I define any words that I don't know specifically or any definitions that I need to turn into an I am statement. And y'all, I wasn't planning to do this, but we're about to do that right now because this is about us doing the daggone thing. I'm going to open, this is just basically Windows. I mean, not Windows, like Word. Okay, I'm going to move myself so we can do this together. So let's say that I was in my journal and I wrote out that first affirmation. And here's the first affirmation. What I would do, I don't really like semicolons, but whatever. Okay, I would have it like this and I would handwrite it. Then I would go through and say, oh, define steward. Define abundance. Everything I need to succeed. Divide succeed and or success. Define flows. To me effortlessly. Define effortlessly. And I'm going to do just a couple of them so you'll see what I mean. I'm going to define steward. I'm going to define abundance. And you know what? I'm going to come back so you can actually see me working. I'll just leave myself right here. I'm going to also define abundance. Now, there's two ways that you can do this a million ways, but I'm going to tell you two ways that we could do this. One is you can do something like go to dictionary.com. And just look up the word. You can also put in like Chrome or Google or whatever and just say, for example, defined steward, and then you will see the definition here. So that's one way. You can come here to dictionary.com and put in steward. And you'll see the definition here. And we're going to use this definition. We could use this definition. I'm not going to use this definition, but you could. You could take this definition if you wanted to, and you could write it right in there if you wanted to. That's not what I want to do, but you could. If you decide to do it this way, I would challenge you to take each one of those definitions and turn it into an affirmation or a I am statement about yourself. So it says a person who manages another's property or financial affairs. I manage. I am ministers. Or I administer, or I think this is a bad one, but I manage. In this case, it says another's property. But if you're talking about abundance, you're talking about when blessings and resources and things and intangible things like joy are entrusted to you, right? And that you handle those things in a way that is beneficial to the one, not just to yourself, but also to others and the one who gave it to you. So to me, that's God. And so that's how you could turn that into additional statements. But I'm going to show you another way that I think will help to drive this home. Y'all, that's us doing our thing. I'm going to go back to ChatGPT. Here we go. I'm going to open up. Oh, actually, I'm going to do it in this one. Can I do it in this one? Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this real quick. If you guys have questions about this, let me know. Most people nowadays, everybody use ChatGPT. What I'm going to do is open up a new chat. It looks a little bit different because I'm using the desktop version, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. Together, we worked on a list of affirmations, quotes, challenges, and scriptures for my purpose journal for 2025. Here's what we created. If you hold shift and hit enter, it'll allow you to put spaces in without submitting your prompt. I'm just going to take off this final question because it was talking to me. All right. And then I'm going to hit enter. It says a beautiful collection. Okay. I want to work through some of them and create a journal. No, I want to create work through some of them to ensure I know the definitions and the fullness of the statements. So let's start with defining steward. Now, don't just say define it. It does this weird thing, but I would say don't just say define it. I would say, I usually will say define it. And if you're unsure of what it means, I will say start with define the steward and explain the concept as it's provided in my affirmations as if you're speaking to an 8th grader. Here we go. What is a steward? Now, again, this is extra, but this is why we like extra, because doing something like this will take something that you've already been thinking about. You've already been working on the art aspects of it, which means that's what you call meditating on it. And now you are putting it down deep and ingraining it in yourself so that you have understanding, and it also helps you to have clarity on the thing that you aspire to carry out. Okay. So I'm going to move myself to the side. Move myself over here. What is a steward? A steward is someone who takes care of something that doesn't belong to them, but they're responsible for using it wisely and looking after it. For example, imagine someone asks you to take care of their pet while they're away. You don't own the pet, but you're in charge of feeding it, playing with it, and making sure it's happy and healthy. That makes you a steward of the pet. What does it mean to be a steward in your affirmation? In your affirmation, when you say, I am a steward of abundance, it means that you're responsible for using the blessings, talents, and resources you have in a smart, thoughtful, and caring way. You're acknowledging that everything you have, your ideas, money, time, and opportunities comes from a bigger source, like God. I'm not going to say the other one. And it's your job to manage those gifts in a way that helps you and others. Y'all, we're going to copy that. And I'm going to show you what we do with it. How does this relate to the affirmation? The affirmation reminds you to be intentional and responsible. It says you already have everything you need to succeed, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. Y'all, can we pause there? You already have everything you need to succeed, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. You already have everything you need to succeed, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. It's your job to use those things wisely. Your creativity, time, and relationships and make them grow. If you haven't, and if you have, go back. But if you haven't, go to it. Read the story of the wise men giving out talents in Scripture. It's a great one about multiplying, right? By being a good steward, you open yourself up to even more opportunities because you're showing that you can handle what you've been given. It's like planting seeds in a garden. You don't just leave them there. You water them, pull out the weeds, and make sure they get enough sun. When you take care of the seeds, your talents and resources, they grow into something amazing. So this is what happens if you continue to use this as a tool to help you to expand upon your affirmations, your quotes. And it also shows this was one word. This was one word. And we're going to do one more in just a second. But I'm going to save all this. This is so good. This is so amazing. Okay. So I'm going to show you what you can do with this. Now, in this case, it could easily be turned into a journal entry. It could be turned into journal prompts. It could be turned into so many different things. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to copy this and I'm just going to make a few little minor adjustments so that it's easy for us to see. Now, this is what we had originally. In the margins, okay, in your affirmation, when you say I'm a steward of abundance, it means that you're responsible for using your blessings, talents, and resources you have in a smart, thoughtful, and caring way. I'm just going to do this one sentence, y'all, because I can do this with every one of these sentences. And I think you can already see that, right? Okay. I'm going to turn that into an I am statement. I am a steward of abundance. I am responsible for using the blessings, talents, and resources God's given me in a smart, thoughtful, and caring way. You could even break this up. And so this is the kind of stuff, or this is the types of truths that I wrote in the margins. And you really can't see them because I wanted it to blend in. So I chose colors that cause it to blend in so that I was just writing to myself. And then I put little squiggly like circles, boxes around the words that I chose to define, and they match with the colors on the outside. And so I'm going to read one section just so you can see an example. I think you see it here, but this is to drive it home. I manage or look after something that has been entrusted to me. I ensure that it is cared for, used wisely, and approved upon for the benefit of others. I am responsible for overseeing and nurturing the resources, blessings, and opportunities I receive, the abundance I am given. And so you can keep going. Like I have them all the way around. You also, with this, can break this up into multiple sentences. This will be something that would be great if you did like scripture, like if you write scriptures, you can write out your affirmations, and you don't have to write all of them every single day. You could just write one a day, just to keep you grounded and rooted and allow you to really set your mind on in the direction you're going. So let's say if I was talking about this one, I'm responsible for using the blessings listen, I am responsible for using my blessings to honor God and bless myself, my family, and others. I am responsible for using my talents to honor God and bless myself, my family, and others. You can do this any kind of way you want, but can you imagine if every day you're saying, I am responsible, I am responsible, I am responsible. You're going to wake up and do what? Be responsible. Right? Y'all, I could go on and on. Okay, let's keep going. So this is how I did it. I went through and I looked up and so even here, you already have everything you need to succeed, even if it doesn't feel like it. I'm going to take this one. I have everything I need to succeed. And I wouldn't even put even if you don't feel like it. I don't need that. I have everything I need to succeed. I have everything I need to succeed. I have everything I need to succeed. So if you find yourself in the middle of something and you are in between what we would call a rock and a hard place, you stop. And you know that if anything that I come up against in this moment is not bigger than the God that I serve. Therefore, he has given me everything that I need in this moment to handle the thing that I am up against. So then that just calls upon me to do what? Be resourceful. Reach into my talents and my gifts and my resources to address the thing that I'm up against, because I have everything that I need to succeed in this moment. And that's where things like this truly, and I'm saying this because some people don't like affirmations, some people don't like quotes. I still think that you can use these things for your good, especially if you are doing something that is bigger than anything that you've ever could even envision yourself doing. Because if you can't envision yourself doing it, y'all, I'm gonna put myself right here. If you cannot envision yourself doing it, the likelihood that you will do it is slim. You have got to see yourself doing it. You've got to see yourself achieving it. You've got to see yourself crossing that line. You've got to see yourself having that abundance. You got to see yourself buying that house. You got to see yourself walking across that stage. You got to see yourself doing it, because if you cannot see it, how will you ever get there? That's like getting in your car, driving on Highway 45 in Houston with your eyes closed. Child, don't do it. And if you do it, don't let me be on the highway. Okay? So you have to be able to visualize it and see it. And that is what doing these sorts of exercises can do for you. Okay? I'm going to stop because we're going to be here all day. So this is what you can do to expand. So here, I would do that for steward. I would do it for abundance. I would do it for succeed and flows and effortlessly. Can I tell you, the flows will have you on the floor? Okay? That it just flows through. Hold on. And when you do this part, I personally I'm making sure that I'm taking my time writing the actual affirmations and scriptures and everything in here. I'm doing those a few at a time, but this part, I know it's going to take me months, because I'm just gobbling it up. Now I'm going to keep reading all the way through everything else. But this portion of expanding it, essentially this is like journaling, expanding the affirmations. You can even expand it into visualization. Like, it really can become your own just success plan, this little bitty book. But I'm going to go to, let's see. Oh, that was abundance. Hold on. Oh, I can't sell that because I added my own personal stuff to it. But the point is, do this. Do it for one. And then come back and say, Dana, you were right. Because I'm telling you now, this is extra, but this is something that you can do to expand on your affirmations. You do not have to have 40. You do not have to have the combination of scriptures and affirmations and challenges. You can have whatever it is you want. And you can even not use AI. You can handwrite them. I find that when I try to handwrite them, I take forever because all this stuff keeps coming up in my head. So what I do as like a shortcut is I speak them out and I record them, and then I take that recording and I transcribe it, and then I'll do something like this to sort of refine it. But that is something that you can do. Okay, so that is you getting your purpose journal. Yeah, I'm gonna do this because Lord knows. Now we're gonna go to the next thing. You get your purpose journal. You decide how many statements or goals. You can even just put your goals in here that you put in here. Now, I will say this. I personally did not put my individual goals in here because, like I stated in the last episode, I don't know if it was in the last episode or the episode 0. But I don't believe that the results are up to me. So I can put that goal down. But really, it's about me becoming the person that can embody that thing so that God can trust me with the desires of my heart, and also what I believe he's called me to do. And so I'm more focused on my mindset and my actions and how I treat others and how I give back, the things that I think, say, and do, right? And so that's why. So I may put in the beginning like the big goals that I have for 2024, 2025, just so that I can be able to come back around and sort of close out this book at the end of the year. And so, yeah, because if this goes away, I think it's going to go. Yeah, this is going to be every year. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2 is I work on visualizing. And this is where things like doing a I want to call it a mood board, and I was going to be so wrong. A vision board is very helpful. Now, vision boards, I believe that you can see them all kinds of ways. You can see a vision board when somebody does it on a poster board. I mean, we've done those. You may have been to vision board parties. I do a combination of the visual, because I'm going to do it on my wall, and digital. And so what I'm going to show you right now is a combination of that. Again, this is extra, but you know, sometimes we extra around these here parts. Okay, so let me show you. Actually, let me pull up my board. Just one second. Okay, one of the things that I did first when going into Canva is I just created a regular page, which is a letter sheet. And I went through and just tried to find some pictures. I'm not going to show all the pictures because some of it has some personal stuff, but I just found pictures that I liked and pictures that aligned with the goals. And to know what pictures I was looking for, over about the span of a week, I had a note on my phone where I just would put specific items, like there's a van that I want. I put the name of that van. There is a type of house that I want. I put that house. There's a certain place where I want to look for land. I put that down. And there are certain things I want to do in my business. I'm growing a multi-million dollar brand. I put that down. I know that I want to continue to grow my savings and investings. I put that down. And so once I had a list of those, then one day while we were just sitting around watching TV or we're doing something, I just was on in Canva looking for images that I liked that represented those things, and I just dropped them into the document. Now for me, I decided to put it in a document so that I can come back around and print it later, because I plan to print these and put them on my wall and actually make customizations to them outside of the computer. But this is some of the things that you can do. And so I just did these to align with some of the goals. Me and my husband, and then I think I even have some of my kids, and yeah. Okay. So, and so that's what I did. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to, then I came back in and I created a new design. And y'all, if y'all want a detailed thing, just let me know. There's a million of them on YouTube. I'm just showing you how I do this part. And I began to make a digital vision board, and this one will go on my phone. So that means every day, you can't see it, but I have my one for 2024 on here, and I want to change that out for one for 2025. So I have the size roughly for the wallpaper, or for the wallpaper for my iPhone. And then one of the things, y'all, because I know how to do this, but I'm not super good at it. So what I do is I like to go to elements and I like to type in frames. And I like to look for frames that look like a collage. Let's see here. I love ones that look like paper. So I'm just going to put that one there. And I'm going to look for some that just look like a collage that help me to fill the background. Ooh, I think I want to do that. Oh, I think I want to do this. I think I want to do 20, 25. I'm gonna change the position real quick. I want this one to go on top so I can find it easily. I'm going to show you how to use these in just a second. But for this 2025, I'm going to highlight all of them. And I'm just going to make them a little bit smaller. And that's the 5, 2, 0, 2. I'm going to highlight them all again. And I'm going to take it down because I want this in the middle. Actually, I want them at the bottom. I'm going to pull it out until that little purple line shows, because it shows that's where the edge of it goes. And then what I'm going to do is highlight all of them by dragging over them. And I'm going to align the bottoms. I'm going to go to arrange. I'm going to align. First, I'm going to tidy up. So there we go. They align at the bottom and they're equally spaced out. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with those in a second. I'm also going to keep going. Oh, I like this heart. I like this too. If you click on it once, it'll just drop in. If you drag it over, it will take over the others. So I want to look for a collage. Let me just go a little bit longer. If I don't see it right away, that's one. Essentially, I want it so that I can drop a bunch of pictures and it looks like, ooh, I like that. I'm going to add a page just to see what this looks like. I want that one because it looks like a Polaroid. I want this because I like how the edges are decorated. Oh, here we go. This is a good collage. Okay. Sometimes what I'll do is add additional pages so that I can store some of the things that I think I might want to use. And I'm sure I want to use this one, but I'm going to use that collage first. This is a good one. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move myself over here. I'm going to take everything that I've done on this page. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to delete it. Y'all, just know that this takes a little bit. You don't have to do exactly the way that I do it. I'm sure there's people on YouTube that do this in 5 seconds. Y'all, this is not my, I'm a creative person. Like when I'm knitting and crocheting, this kind of stuff takes me forever. That's why I think people who do like, I'm copying it and I'm duplicating it so that I can have it at the top and the bottom. I find that people who do like scrapbooking, I think that is so amazing. Because I just think it takes a lot more intention and creativity than I have. So now what I'm going to do is copy both. I'm going to go back to position. I'm going to make them, oh, no. I don't want to make them middle. I want to make them center. And then I want to drag them out as much as possible. I'm only putting it like to the tip, almost at the very edge, but not all the way, because I want to put a background color. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to do is let me grab my color cube. Okay, I just brought up my color cube. Y'all, I love this thing. I love this thing. I use it all the time. I want to find a color combination. This one I use all the time though. Oh, it's one of my favorites. I want to find something that has my favorite colors. That's close, but I don't want blue. I want teal instead. So I may mix the two. This has teal and purple. I like the other one better. This color cube was one of the gifts that I got from my kids last year, and I use it for everything. Everything from designing promo campaigns to doing stuff like this to I want this one. I'm going to pick a couple of colors. I'm going to pick a couple of colors. And I'm going to just sort of park them right now so I can use them in just a second. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure I know the hex code on this. Again, you don't have to do this. You can just pick whatever colors. I like spending time on stuff like this because for me, I look at this every single day for a whole year, you know? And I like for when I look at it, for it to make me smile and for me to feel connected and for me to feel just pumped. And part of that is making it visually appealing for me. Again, I'm just parking these colors so they'll be easy to do. The color cube, I have the physical as well as this version, but I find that I use this version way more than I use the cube because it's so easy to access. These don't go together for real, but I don't care. I like them. I think it's close enough. I think I need to have something that's a little bit like a neutral. That gray maybe. And I'm just using these as placeholders. So when I start doing this and start putting the colors together, I'll have something easy to select. I like that better. You can always type in a color and do it like a name, or you can use their pointer. Let's say I'm going to add a black in here, or just this color. It just went with the default color. You can click their color. You can come over here and select a color. You can also come here and select a color. If you go in and you go to color, you can type a name, a word. So I can say purple and it'll bring up all these others. So then you can actually use the color combinations that they've already put together. So yeah, you could do that too. I'm just going to use these though. I like these. I want to use this one as my background color. So I'm going to go up here and change my background. There we go. I thought that looked off. I'm going to center this. Okay, so now once you have something like this, whenever I think of a vision board, I think about the pictures, right? So if you were to say, for example, actually, I think I'm going to do this instead of that color. I want to drag it to the back. Oh, I like that better. Okay, now what you can do is you can come through and you can drag pictures that you want onto here. Now, if you do it this way, it's gonna look really like very structured because I used a frame. But this will be the easy way for me to show you. And then I would end up coming back and doing something. So I'll show you just a little bit. So let's say, for example, that you were wanting to buy a house this year. You can drag a picture over. Actually, with that one, I will put that one in this one. You could say if you wanted to graduate. You can go through and just drop all kinds of pictures until this is full. And if you wanted to, you could even put some of your, your I am statements. You can put, I am a college graduate. Or better yet, I have my master's in business. Or I have my MBA. I'm going to make this bigger so you can see what I'm doing. All right, you can do that. You can even change the colors on this. If you go to effects, you can add that on there in the back. And I would maybe use one of my colors if you wanted to. That's way too big, but you could. In this case, because it is so tiny and it would be on your phone, I probably would just do it like this and make it all caps and make it like this. And then maybe add some spacing so that it's a little easier to read from a distance or with tiny font. You probably could even turn this text white. This is one of those things that you just want to sit and have a good time. Sit, drink your coffee or whatever, and, get it in. You can always double click on this and sort of shift it a little bit so that we can actually see that hat. And you can keep going. Let's say that you wanted to, you want to save money. You may want to once you get a style, always copy and paste it so that I don't have to do it again. I want to save, let's say you want to say, I want to save 10K or whatever. Then with that one, you may want to still have that effects on the back, but maybe you want to turn that effect to green for money. I will click on this. I will slide this over to green. There we go. And I find the color. And you can just fill this up. And when you're done, download it. So I'm going to show, that's how I did that if you used frames. This will be the easiest way. Now, another thing that you can do with these is like if you have certain words or some of your affirmations or quotes that you want to bring here, you can click on one of these. Instead of dropping a picture on it, you can just change that frame to a color. And then what you could do is add text. So let's add text. So I might say, let me go to one of those other affirmations. Let's say if I wanted to do this one of these quotes. You can just put it in there. And I'm going to make this bigger so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to make it so that it fits this box. And then I'm going to use the dots to bring it in. You can change the font type. You can change the size. You can do all kind of stuff. Now I like to limit some of it, because the smaller that you make these pictures, the harder it is to see when it's on your phone, because on your phone it's kind of small. I want to change the attribution. I just duplicated the same thing. Y'all, if you ever want me to do like a full thing on this, just let me know. This is not meant to be like the end all be all on this, but there are a million, of these types of tutorials on YouTube. But if you want to see me do more on it, and this is one of the things I'd gladly do, because I use Canva a lot. Now I'm going to make this a little bit bigger just so you can get an idea. You can change the font. You can make it script. I usually use it like this unless it's something where it's like I'm doing it for an accent. So I'll give you an example in just a second. There we go. So if I were to, I'm going to put this down just a little bit. There we go. If I back up and see how that is, you can put your quotes or your statements. You can change that background color. If I wanted to, I could turn it into that other teal. I actually like the purple. Okay, now another thing that you can do, because it has all these spaces, that's when you can start getting really, really clever. There are things like embellishments. And anything you can think of, I would just type it in. Like these little thingies. Now, all my embellishments, I usually do not put them in until I'm actually done. So I make sure it looks good. Let's see, lace. And I probably would take this. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to send it to the back. Right above that. There we go. And actually, I would do it again and bring it over here. And then I'd do it again and I'd put it in the middle. This may look a little bit crazy, but it will cover up some of that coloring. And again, you don't have to leave it like this. I would do this so that everything essentially that you do will look very unique, because no one else would put it together like you. And while you're doing this, think about your goals. Think about what you want to do. Think about how you want to do it. Think about the resources that you already have. Think about your next steps. You can listen to an audiobook. You can listen to a podcast. You can watch a YouTube video. Shout out. Now this one, I guess you can't change that. I was like, can you change that outline color? I wouldn't use this one purely because of that outline color. But now you see, this is how you can do. The final thing that I would say too is sometimes you can use things like banners and tags. And I like ones that look like ripped paper like this. And I will go through and sort of cover up some of those lines so they're not so distracting. And you can always put words on it. So for example, one of the things that I like to do is sometimes put like rolls that I have. And I'm just putting that I want it in script. And it's because it doesn't have to be necessarily red. Here we go. It's just one of those things that I know for me. And one of the things about me when it comes to this type of task is like, it doesn't have to be 100% legible to me. I know what I'm saying. I just need it represented there to remind me. And so like on this, I would do it a little bit smaller. And honestly, with this one, I would make it with the lowercase r, so it all fit on there pretty easily. And I may even make sure that I repeat it somewhere else in the design so that it looks as if it belongs there for real. So I'm going to put this over here. And on this one, I'm going to put publisher. And I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to copy this and repeat it. I'm going to put it up here. And I'm going to put, author. And you could go in and just like slowly start like, I'll put coffee stain. And be careful when you let it go that it doesn't like take over some of those frames. I would put it there and then I would bring it to the back. And you don't see it a lot, but it just, if you were looking at it up close, it just adds a little bit of texture. Now, let's say that you don't want to use those frames, but you want to use something a little simpler. Like this. If I wanted to, I'm going to go to projects. I'm just put my name. I could take my picture and just put it in there where it looks like it's in a frame. I wouldn't necessarily just have my picture, it would like be my family picture, but so I don't put everybody on blast. You know, you can put that there. I could put, I could put one of my publishing company's book covers. Why are you not going here? There we go. See, so you can just make this any way that you want. At the end of the day, and I'm gonna leave all these pictures, but let's say, for example, actually I'm starting to like this one. Okay, because these are going to go all the way across the bottom. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to turn these into color. There we go. I want something like a ribbon. I found that when I started doing this in the beginning, I had to learn how to like what the way they like call what they called stuff. I don't like that. Washi. I'm just slowly moving it up. And then I'm going to relayer. I want it to go behind that. And then I think I want to make this sort of move along with it. I don't like that. And I'm going to take all of these and maybe do it in some sort of watercolor. When you hold it over the letter, it will like drop into place. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn these all into black. No, I'm going to turn them into that. Nope, I want to turn them into black. I duplicated it and I'm going to turn it into black. Then what I'm going to do is do a fake drop shadow. I'm going to group them first. I don't know, I may need to fix that. But this is going to be the last thing I do. I hope you see that. Honestly, this is going to be so fun. There we go. And then what I want to do is I want to take down the opacity just a little bit because it seems so dark. There we go. And then I'm going to group these as well. And I want to group all of them and see if I can move it. And then I'm going to ungroup it because it made the top ones go transparent, and I don't want that. I want them to be vibrant. So, and because of this, I would actually torn paper. Here we go. Y'all, this is why it takes forever. So I'm going to stop this in a little bit. I'm going to put it behind here. Oh, I do like that better. And I would say just like give yourself time to play. To see what you like and don't like. The point of this though is like when you finish, you will literally have a physical representation of your goals, and it will be in a picture so that you'll see them every single day, at least every day that you actually are paying attention to your goals. I'm going to move this up just a little bit. There we go. And so that's what you can do. And when you're done with it, if like in this case, if I were done with this, I'm going to leave that page because these two, I'm going to use them when I actually do my design. You could then take this and download it. I'm going to fill this up with pictures real quick. Save money. Oh, that one is, and see how this like just brings it all together. And see how I'm doing it super fast? You can do it like this too. I think you should do it with just, you know, with more intention. But Excuse me. All right. So now, oh, that's how you change them. It's like, I know you have to be able to change these. Whenever it has a bunch of them with the same color, you can change them all like this. Oh, that's so much better. Now I want to put that back. Pardon me. If you ever do something like this and you don't know if you messed up what you did, always do a Control Z to undo. See, yeah, it did. There we go. Now that I have the black, it looks a little bit better. That's not working. Okay. There you go. I wish this had like a little black banner. Oh. Then I'm going to send that to the back. There we go. Now, then I can do share, download. The different options that you have when it's time to download depends on the plan that you have. I do have a pro plan because I use it a lot, and I just think it's something, if you do just about anything, you can find something to use Canva for. Now you can do this just for your phone. You can do this for any type of electronic device just about that you have. And then this can be added to my phone. I want to make it better, but because all of this isn't my stuff. But this can be added to my phone, and once it's on my screen, then it means every time I open my phone, lock my phone, any of that, I'm seeing those goals. And honestly, it's just a great reminder. So with that said, let's go ahead and wrap this up because y'all, this is way longer than I intended. But I will add this final thing before I get to the final 3 tips. The final thing that you can do that I always do is you can record your affirmations. And if you have any sort of electronic device, and I'm gonna do it like this, even though I'm looking crazy. If you have any sort of electronic device, what you can do is go to your memos and then record yourself reading your affirmations, reading your goals, reading those statements, so that then you can play it back to yourself. And if you record it, I would say listen to it in the morning, listen to it at night, so that again, you are constantly being reminded of where you're going. And if you did any of those additional spin-offs of like doing those definitions, adding those additional I am statements, then you can record those too if you want, and then be able to listen back to those again to remind yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this baby up. So there you have it, y'all. We just finished another episode in Pursuing Purpose, and I want to give you the final 3 tips when it comes to making your own purpose journal, and not not making it, but making it work for you. And the first one is to start with your vision. If you don't know where to start, like, you don't have to use any of these extra things. It can literally be you just writing it out. And so, start off with your vision, review your goals. Think about the person that you want to be, to become, the kind of actions that you want to take. And those things should excite you. And if they do, write it down. What does it feel like? How do you want it to smell? How do you want your day to go? Like, all of those types of questions, and capture them, whether you're writing them or you're recording them, or you even recording a video. And so making sure you start with your vision. Number 2, I would say keep it personal. I think it's easy now because we have such access to other people's lives, even if it's just the access that they want to give between social media and TV and vlogs and all this other stuff, to look at someone else's life and really start doing things like comparing. But I would say, more than anything, think about yourself and what you want for you. And then, like, even in this example, me putting things in colors that make me happy and that are important to me. Like in my vision boards, I'm going to have a picture of my husband and my kids and my puppy and all the things that make me happy and feel driven and feel like I want to do this because it's not just for me. And so all of those things, things that resonate with you, down to the statements that you write. Even if you are using a tool like AI to help you, you want to feel it. You want to feel excited about it. You want to make it stir something in you. And if it doesn't, take it out. Find something better, okay? The final thing is to use it daily. I think more than anything, you see that there are so many ways that you can do this, but unless you actually do it, it honestly would be just a waste of time. Now, granted, doing all this and thinking about it and letting it marinate in your head eventually can also be for your good. But if you're not going to use it, then you're not going to get the maximum benefit from this sort of a practice. And so I would say, don't use it just one time. If you decide to do the journal, make a plan to read it every day. That's why I did not want it long. Those statements are short. I read a big chunk of them to you in minutes. This will probably take me less than 5 minutes. And I bet by the end of the year, I'll have most of them memorized. And that way you just carry it with you. You're carrying it in your heart. You're carrying it in your mind. And so, yes. So more than anything, review them. And I would say have some sort of approach that you want to do when you reach that goal. Now, since mine are not individual goals, then that means everything that I do, this would still apply. But if you do individual goals, I would have something to earmark that you accomplished that goal. And I maybe even would add a little something to it, like accomplished on, and add the date. And many of mine, I did not aim to fill the page. So if I wanted to add anything else, I still can. And that's what I would do if you decide to put actual goals in there. Because you can always update that, and that will be even more powerful, because you'll see how you putting your mind to it and you doing taking the actions that were necessary help to bring about that result. And so there you have it. Oh, we did it. We did it. Y'all, this was a long one, but we did it. And so I invite you to create your own purpose journal. It isn't about being the prettiest. It is not about having the most expensive tools. It's all about you taking your goals and your dreams and your aspirations and your visions and making them tangible. Whether you decide to put it in a journal or do a vision board, or if you decide to record the audio so you can listen to it, or record a video, do it and try your best to combine different elements, whether it's your faith, your creativity, your business, your family, your health, your finances. Like, y'all, let's do it. Okay. So with that said, I am looking forward to coming back and talking to you for the third installment of the Pursuing Purpose. And so far, we have talked about the introduction. We've talked about making your goals. We've even now talked about visualizing your goals. And as we move forward, we will talk about, I would say, it's not the last step, but I think this will keep this from being like super long, but it will be, how do we turn this into actionable steps? And I really think it's going to bring all of this together, because we looked at it a little bit in episode 1, but now once you have, thought about what you want to do, you have, you've created, you have your system, you have your planner, you have your goals, you have your affirmations, you have your scriptures, you have your quotes. Now it begins to turn into like, how do we do this on a day by day and a week by week basis? And honestly, I think that's probably going to be our shortest one. And so with that said, y'all, your girl is out. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know, are you going to make a purpose journal? Have you done something like this before? Does this feel like it's totally in your wheelhouse? Does it feel like, oh girl, you're doing too much? Y'all let me know in the comments. And I've really had a great time doing this. And I'm looking forward to just doing the tangible things in our last, I think it's going to be either our last or our second to our last episode of this mini series. And I hope that this has blessed you in watching as much as it has me in preparing. And definitely let me know if you have any questions about anything that I've shared, any tools that I've shared, because, it means nothing if you don't do it. Okay. So with that said, your girl's out. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. Take care and goodbye. I've been down so in love like I've been down so in love like I've been down so in love like I've been down so